Welcoming back Nick Barnes to the program. Get ready to fight Jose Diaz coming up here, RFA 38. It's funny. I'm looking at Jose, and of course, because Aldo, I always want to call everybody Jose now. Like I want to switch them.
Right.
So I apologize, Jose, if I butcher your name in the middle of this. But Nick, how you been? We haven't caught up in a while, man. How things going with you?
I've been doing great, man. Yeah, I've been doing great since last time we talked. We talked before the James Terry fight. That went pretty good for me. So since then, I've just been trying to get back to the gym, work hard, train hard, and get better than last time.
So, the game now, we're at that era where the sport is still so young. I mean, it's not like boxing's 100 years old, Yeah. Judo's 100 years old. Like these other combative sports are very, very old. It's essentially MMA's been around since pretty much, since 93, 94. You can go back a little bit earlier in Brazil. But we're at that point now where literally every week, every month, something new is happening in the sport. Like some new technique, some new name you've never heard before, all of a sudden as a champ. It's crazy how these things work out. What is different from your fight back in December of 2015, getting ready for that? So figure October, November, you're getting ready for that fight, to now this year, 2016, only a few months, getting ready for this fight in June. So what's different in this training camp? Even if it's like minuscule, it could be the big difference between being a champ now, or being a guy that's just kind of hung around.
Yeah. Well, definitely, it's definitely how I'm taking care of my diet and how I'm taking care of my weight. Last time we talked, I took that fight in a week's notice, and if you remember, I had 25 pounds to cut in a week, so that was no fun at all. So I'm definitely watching my diet, making sure I'm staying low. Like right now, I'm about like 185, so looking pretty good for my weight cut. Other than that, it's definitely my stand-up. I always feel like, it's something I really want to work on. I analyze a lot of strikers in the game right now, so I'm really trying to focus on my stand-up. And then lately I've been working with my coach, Nestor Flores, and then me and him have been working on good footwork and, good movement. And I feel a lot more confident in my hands than this time around.
So why are you concentrating on those specific areas? Like it could be a lot of other areas you could look at, but you're kind of choosing those right now.
I just feel like my base has always been wrestling. I wrestled through high school, and then I had good standing with my wrestling, and I got a good wrestling game, ground game.
Mm-hmm.
So what I really want to do is focus on my striking, so that way, to me, I could pick and choose where the fight goes. If my stand-up's on point, then I'm able to keep it standing. If they try to take me down, I'm going to stop the shots. If I decide that it goes to the ground, then I take them down. That's where my mind's at.
We've talked about this before, too, where a lot of wrestlers, well, I don't want to say a lot, I can say 100% of the wrestlers, once they realize that, hey, I can actually punch and you can't take me down, I'm going to stand here and throw punches at you. And then eventually they get hit and get knocked out because powerful and strong, but not accurate, and defense isn't quite there from the guys that have been doing striking for so much longer. Are you afraid of getting into that wrestling, that wrestling fault that we have where all of a sudden, hey, you can't take me down, so I'm just going to beat you up at my feet?
A little bit, yeah, because if you watch a lot of my earlier fights, there's a lot of me trying to dominate with my wrestling, and then when it did come to striking, it's just wild, crazy punches and me flying all over the place. And that exactly what you say. Like I feel like if I compensate with trying to just power my punches through, I might get clipped and just get knocked out. So what I'm really trying to work on, like I was saying, was work on good footwork and actually work on good strategy with my striking. Not just throwing punches just to throw them, but actually picking and choosing my shots. And I feel like that's going to give me a lot more confidence in the fight.
So have you watched tape on Jose?
I tried it a little bit. He's I can't find too much on him.
Yeah.
I looked at a couple of his training videos, and I found one of his fights, his older fights, and one of my teammates has one of his fights. I think it was one of the jungle fights that he did on his DVR, or on my teammate's DVR. So I'm gonna go look at that. I've definitely been checking out his record and seeing who he fought, and he's definitely a tough opponent. I'm looking at the stuff he's did and the stuff he's accomplished, and it's definitely gonna be a good challenge. And I look forward to.
Do you see him as an opponent that can get you to the next, that can help you get to the next level, or do you see him as an opponent that's going to be more lateral?
I would say he'd definitely be a step-up opponent. I always take every fight seriously, so any opponent that I take, I'm always taking them seriously, and I'm definitely taking this guy very serious. But on top of that, I do feel like he's had a lot of game competition, and then I feel like he's achieved a lot in his career. So I feel like this is a good fight for both of us, and I feel like it's a step up, definitely.
That's Nick Barnes getting ready for RFA 38. Jose Diaz is his opponent. This one's actually in the hangar in Costa Mesa, California. There's about an hour and a half, right? Driving time from the house, so it's close.
Quick little drive.
It's on June 3rd. It's actually the next night. UFC has got a fight going off as well. So it's another full, fun, like, fight weekend. Like, and this is what's kind of happening now. And no disrespect to RFA or any other small leagues, but like it's like the minor leagues are getting smarter about when they book their dates. They're becoming leads into big events, whether it's a lead into a Bellator weekend or a lead into a UFC weekend. Like they're becoming these huge, big lead-ins, and it's actually helping out the later cards because then you get for guys like me that love watching fights. I get to see you fight Friday night, and I go and watch the big fight on Saturday night, and it's like for me, it's a whole weekend's taken up with just MMA. I feel bad for Jill, my girl, because she's like, again. If we're not watching fights, I'm reffing a fight, so it's always this weird thing we have going on. But yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend. I'm super, super excited to see this fight. Actually, it's been a while that I've been this excited because I actually want to see you fight again. I was so impressed with the way you cut weight the last time. Taking a 2-week notice fight, cutting 25 pounds is ridiculous. Like that's an enormous amount. But I do have to ask you: have you heard about what California is trying to start? And the UFC will start it come UFC 200 in July. Where you're now going to have a dehydration test. You can only show up. So like for a Saturday fight, you show up on Tuesday, you have to step on a scale right then, and you can only be a certain percentage over your weight. So like if I remember correctly, 170 welterweights, when you show up that week, you have to be no more than 184. So when you walk in, you have to be 184. But there's a percentage. It's a percentage. So like heavyweights, obviously because more weight, they have a bigger percentage, and then the smaller guys have less percentage. Is that something now that you're gonna have to start worrying about? Because on a short notice fight, you can't be 25 pounds over and be able to take it. You know,
exactly,
and show up hydrated at 14 pounds over.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I said earlier. I'm really trying to focus on my diet. So that sucked, man. Yeah, I can tell you, 25 sucked. That was no joke, and it's definitely something I don't want to do again. So knowing that they are starting to enforce that law, that rule, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. Me being a smaller 170, I don't mind so much, you know. So I kind of enjoy the idea of like everyone keeping it like not fair, but like like it leaves room for the smaller guys that are naturally 170.
Yeah,
so we can actually mix it up with actual 170 instead of me fighting like a 6'2". Like he cut from 210 pounds all the way down to 170. So it kind of makes it a little bit more interesting to.
I believe this is of course when I was competing I was like no it's if we can't make the weight, if we can't survive, it's our own fault, like leave it alone. But now that I'm out and I'm looking at it from a safety standpoint and longevity of the fighters and guys still having their brains and their lungs and livers being able to function when they retire, this is the right step I think for the sport. This is actually a great way, and to be honest with you, it will change the look of a lot of the weight classes. Guys like a guy like Johnny Hendricks, who fights at 170 but weighs 205. He weighs 210, having to come down. He's either going to have to stay in training camp or stay training outside of training camp to keep his weight down, or he's going to have to move up to 185. That's just what's going to happen. So guys, and there's going to be guys, it's going to happen. You're going to show up to fight. It's going to happen, Nick. It's probably going to happen to you. You're going to show up to fight, and they're going to come and tell you, your guy can't fight. He can't make the dehydration test. Now it becomes a whole new problem. Training camp, I got ready. I'm here. Like it's not my fault. So they give you something, but you're not going to get your win bonus. You probably just get your show-up money, and it's like, man, all that stress for nothing, So
exactly. And, you put all that work for nothing.
Yeah.
But you definitely hit the nail on the head. It's all like when you're competing, it's like, I'll do whatever it takes. Like, who cares? I'll cut whatever. But, yeah, definitely, you hit the nail on the head. Looking at it from the outside perspective and really looking at it objectively, you're like, okay, it's true. You do kind of need some kind of, someone looking over something like that. So,
and I do think that CSAC, the California State Athletic Commission, is doing the right steps, and the UFC is also mirroring and doing the right steps. So, I agree, man. But I gotta be honest with you, man. I'm super excited about this fight. I can't wait to watch it on June 3rd. It's gonna be a big night for me. A great way to start off my weekend is getting to watch you go out there and smash some heads in.
Heck yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on, Nick. I appreciate it, man. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you for having me, brother. Yeah.